Hello, hola, konnichiwa, wagwan, my Irie fam. Hello, hello, hello. Welcome. Come on in. Come on in. Come on in. I know you guys have been eagerly waiting for this awesome moment when we speak about life as a migrant. Wow. Yes, let's get started. So, basically, what is migration? It is the movement of people or animals from one place to another, simply put, right? Simply put. And in our case, or in our cases, it's the movement from one country to another. So, like myself, Katie moved from Jamaica to Japan, and Irene moved from the UK, from the Ukraine, from Ukraine, sorry, to Jamaica. And Mama B, Miss Spirit, moved from Jamaica to America. Hi, good morning, Miss Tarian. Good morning, good morning, good morning. You may not be able to stay long. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. But you can always press replay, because you know it's going to be nice, okay? All right. And quickly, just to give you a background of the word Irie, because Irene's channel is called Jamaica with Irie, and my channel is one big Irie family. So, what is Irie? What is this? What Irie mean? What is Irie means? Basically, good, positive, everything that has to do with good quality, nice vibes, excellence, happiness, pleasant. All right. Okay, fine. That's what Irie is. You can say something is Irie, you can say someone is Irie. Yes, basically, that's the meaning of Irie. Nothing could be better, okay? When you say Irie, it means nothing could be better. Of course, this term goes way back in history where, Rastafarians believe in this in a more in-depth way, in a spiritual way. When they say Irie, for them, it's more than just a word. It's very, very deep. Yeah, good morning, good morning. Okay, so let's get started because we have a lot to talk about, and I want to give you guys an opportunity to ask your questions. I'm sure you have some questions going. I want to talk about my first co-host, Irena. Of course, Irena, as I have mentioned before, is from Ukraine. Why I keep saying the UK? Maybe because I really and honestly never really thought about Ukraine until I met Irena. Like, yeah, it wasn't one of the countries in my books. I started researching about Ukraine upon meeting her, and it is also interesting that she is from Ukraine and has decided to migrate to Jamaica. Isn't that wonderful? Yes, so she is living in Jamaica in Montego Bay, St. James. She's been living there for the past 6 years. And just to give you a quick backstory, she went to Jamaica to study for a year in 2014 and thought that, oh, I'm just going to stay there for a year because, of course, she moved there with her husband and two kids. But lo and behold, she fell in love with our beautiful island, and that has been our home for the past 6 years. Since then, she has started so many online programs and projects, one of which is her YouTube channel that we started just 3 months ago. And it is basically to promote Jamaica and to sell branded Jamaica to the world. And oh, has she been doing a wonderful job? I mean, say, trust me, Irene sell Jamaica better than some Jamaicans. I'm not gonna lie. Irene sell Jamaica are better than us. Somehow we say Jamaica. Yes, it's true. I love her channel. Her channel has grown so much. She has now over 12,000 subscribers, and I'm quite proud of her. I can use her videos to share with people who want to know about Jamaica because that's how good they are. Not going to tell her everything about Irene because she probably have some things that she want to tell me herself. Yo, 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 Raskalat, what's going on? Blessed morning to you. Blessed morning. As you come in, you know the drill. Leave a like and share. Thank you so much. Yes, so big up on yourself. You know, I'm going to bring Irene on now, and she's going to tell me a little bit about her migration journey because, yeah, it's not Jamaica alone she visits. And not Jamaica alone she did go. So she's going to tell us a little bit about her migration journey, right? And so we're going to hear from Irene now. Irena, sorry, I keep saying Irene because maybe because it sounds like Irene, Irena. Why migrate? Let's hear from Irena. So we're gonna just big up us, give her a round of applause as she come. I'm gonna bring up Irena now.
If you can do. Okay.
Irene.
All right, that worked. Hello everyone. I hope you can hear me. Can you hear me well enough?
Yes, I'm hearing you.
Okay.
Hi, family.
Hello, fantastic blessings. How are you doing this evening? It's evening for you. It's early morning for me.
It's night, actually. This is how much I love my people. I have given up my sleep for them.
Well, that's the way to do it, isn't it? That's what you do when you work with YouTube. You have to do that. All right. So yes, it's a pleasure to be here, and it's a pleasure to meet you. Absolutely. And I'm so happy that I have the opportunity to share with some of the viewers. So basically, I'm what my friends call me a serial migrant because I lived in several countries before. And it just so happened, like from the very early childhood, my parents were moving from one place to another. So I kind of got used to it. And when I grew up, obviously, I just wanted to continue. However, my main goal of my life from the age of 8 was to find a place with no winter. And I never knew it would actually be Jamaica. I was thinking of any country, but not Jamaica. I basically knew about Jamaica just as much as like average Jamaican would know about Ukraine. That means like almost nothing. Okay. So, and,
right.
Exactly. Yeah. So, and then when we were like trying to figure out, how to find the best place for us, I made a list of all the countries. Basically, I just took a list of all the countries and I started going through one by one. And it turned out that Jamaica was the best choice for me. I was surprised, a lot myself, and my husband was like, really? And but of course it wasn't that easy. It's not like I was just sitting there, thinking, where should I go? It had actually taken me 19 years to be able to relocate to Jamaica. Yes. So, and obviously
a little bit about that later on.
Yes. So anyway, so there you go. Yes. So that's basically, in short, that's my story. And of course, when I came to Jamaica, it was an incredible, it exceeded every single expectation I had. Wow. And when I started living here for the first year as a student, I kept being surprised every day by the things I found out, and we just fell in love with it. It kind of was a love at first sight, and we just had to stay for longer. And we were lucky that we found a way to register a business here, and we, started creating jobs and things. So that was the main, the situation.
That's an amazing journey.
Now, so there you go.
Because I even when I was researching about about Ukraine, I asked myself, like, why would someone from Ukraine choose Jamaica? You don't even speak English. You speak Ukrainian.
Yes, that's right. Yeah, the native language for Ukraine is Ukrainian, or they also know Russian. Yes, they know Russian, but they mostly my native language would be Russian and Ukrainian. So yes, that's the situation basically. But you see, I did live in England for about 6 years, and that's where I studied English. I was lucky to get to England to study. That was like brilliant. And but it took me 6 years to actually get my English to the level that I can use now, I suppose. So that was the first step anyway.
Awesome. I spoke with a student today, and I was having conversations with the class, like in groups, and there was this one boy who spoke fluently. So after we were finished, I didn't want to ask him in front of the other students because I'm sure they're already intimidated by his perfect English. It was really perfect. He was quite fluent. I'm sorry, guys, if I'm not looking at your comments. I'll just big you up afterwards. And so after the conversation with the group, I asked him one away. I said, "How come you speak such good English?" And he said, "Oh, I went to Finland for 3 years for international school." I'm like, wow, that's the way, you know? So you were lucky to really spend some time in the UK. Oh, by the way, you can talk like a patois now. Like how you're there, Jamaica.
Yeah, man, but me no good, you know.
Oh, big up yourself, girl.
Me I know tourists now, you know, so me I try, you know. Just a little bit.
You still sound like a Ukrainian trying to speak patois, but never mind. You still get it. Guys, I see your questions coming in, and we're going to focus on your questions a little bit. Thank you, Irena. Thank you so much. I see your questions coming in. We are going to focus on your questions. Of course, we can't have big people in a live stream or we don't focus on the questions, but we got to give the question and answer time a little time because we want to get the information out, okay? Big up yourself, mom and daughter, you're here. The Good Lit Family blog, vlog, big racks, small bites on a come out. Yes, big up on yourself. Thank you for coming. Yes. We're moving on into the program because we have a lot to talk about, guys. I'm telling you, this live stream is really, really wonderful. Sorry, if you don't see me, I did this because I look at my time. I understand it's my bedtime. I just got up out of bed. I was just about to turn again and hug up my husband, my pillow huzzy. And my wonderful co-host called me like, "Katie, we know what time it is there. Are you awake?" So if you can see the little mark in my face, Michelle. Thank you for coming in, guys. So moving on into the program. Now, my next wonderful co-host, Brenda. Let me tell you about her. She awesome, you know. She amazing. She wonderful, but she not bossy. Me say, how may I ask the lady to give me a profile? Me say, tell me some things you want to talk about you. Want talk, you want big up yourself. You want to know it no matter. So me have to find some things. You know, she's a blogger. She's a vlogger. She's a brand ambassador for Jamaica. Who don't know Brenda don't ban yet? Who don't know Miss Peart don't ban it. Some of my friends call her Mama Peart because them feel so close to her. She was going to Jamaica for the first time in 21 years and she created excitement on that airplane. Createment was created. May I tell her she go with a bag of things and that video went viral and trust me, even TVJ had to speak to her because TVJ said, "No, sir. Sorry, I heard door squeaking out. I thought it was a cat, even though my door is quite closed." Yes. So, Let me dig a research. I'm dig up about Miss Brenda. She's based in Charleston, South Carolina, but of course she was born and bred in our beautiful island of Jamaica, and she is so passionate about dots across the diaspora. She's packed home. And yes, she's quite social. When we check, she have over 9,000 followers on Facebook. And me not even did check how much on YouTube, on Instagram. But she also has a YouTube channel, Brenda J. Peart. you can go over. So Brenda J. Peart and we just spoke with Irene from Jamaica with Irie. Okay, I want you guys to check out their channels. You'll have a whole lot of information about Jamaica. And I'm rambling on and on and on. I'm going to stop that now because trust me, she can take over the live stream here. Me, I tell her, if you think I can talk and if you think I am crazy, yeah, you haven't met Miss Brenda yet. So, Miss Brenda, you love Jamaica so much and you're so excited. That's why your video went viral, because of how you behave for going back. So why you move? Why did you move? We want to hear from Miss Brenda right now. Why did you move from Jamaica? All right. I'm bringing Brenda up now. Mama P Kitchen. Hey guys, welcome, welcome, welcome to the live stream. All right. Check, okay. You're on, you know, Miss. Mr. Me just love her. The floor is yours, my darling. Welcome. What should I do?
Give me my big screen.
Whoa, yes, Mama. Let me give it to you.
Give me my big screen.
Right in the middle.
Hey! Good morning. Go and switch it back again. I feel your show, make them see your face. What you say about me about early this morning now? Good morning, Irena.
Did we laugh, you know? Lord of mercy. What I'm saying.
Good morning. Just a touch of coming
Good morning, good morning, good morning.
I'm Jennifer Peart. And I want to look at thing me I have to tell you. Darling, I'm British born of Jamaican heritage. I'm not Jamaican born. Me, I one of the mad one them. I am a product of, yes, mother come from Spanish Town, father come from Heartlands, and my parents were double migrants. They initially were part of Windrush and went to Britain. Got the first tree born of Jamaica and the last tree born of England. And me and the wash belly. Hey! But when wash belly come through, then it was time to go to America. But this was in the late 60s. We're talking civil rights, busing, and many other things going on. And we're in New York. We shifted from Harlem to Brooklyn. And it was at that time, I'm 5, 6 years old, being put on a school bus to go an hour away on the other side of Brooklyn. And at this time, everybody else is either in middle school or high school. They can fend for themselves. And me did that nice and fluffy as me as now. So, them send me guy yard for you to wait. It's a lie. But it's all right. And that began the journey. The journey of 7 years in Jamaica, from 7 to 14, that shaped and molded and created the person you see in front of you. So right now, I had the wonderful opportunity of attending, yes, we'll run it down real quick. St. Teresa Pandinera Road, thank you very much. Vineyard Town, Kingston 3. Something gone, and in the middle of Easter break, I was sent to Spanish Town, and there, Tredegar Park, All Age, Little Greendale, Thompson Pen, and then the way they were run, Sligoville when the river run over. And then began the journey. 3 years at St. Catherine Primary. Me think so that molded me real well. I had great teachers. A year at St. Jago and then a year at Bishop Gibson High School for girls. If they had continued boarding me to graduate from this, but that's what I got. And then I went back here from 13 years old and then roamed around again. But fast forward to 2019, returning after 21 years, Jamaica is nice. You have to big him up. He didn't put my name on it initially, but Jamaica is nice. Took 7 of my Instagram posts, made the compilation, and that's what went viral. I had no idea. I'm going about my business in Jamaica, and there are people pointing at me on the street, or they're saying things, and I didn't know what their reference measure was, only to find out that the video went viral. And that's the story. You see what the daylight puffy good? Where they kitty? Where I going with? That's how the business.
I told you guys that you are in for a treat with Mama P, Miss Spirit, Miss Brenda. Yes. Thank you so much. Yeah, so guys, that's why she moved. Jamaica nice, Jamaica sweet, but you got a little background about why is it that she's now living in South Carolina. Okay, moving on in the program. Big up on yourself. Let me just read the comments quickly. I will be giving you time to answer. To ask the questions. Irena has a wonderful YouTube channel, but this is a platform that you can chat with her, ask her anything. Them so nice. Yep, them too nice. I tell you, too nice. But say, oh my God, I'm so honored and I'm so blessed to have them on my live stream. Actually, I don't know if I'm dreaming right now, to be honest. You might think it's simple, but it's not simple for me. I actually don't know if I'm dreaming because it's supposed to be like 10:30 in the night. Maybe tomorrow when I see this uploaded on my channel, I'll be like, oh, I actually did it. I actually did it. Mama P and Irene was on my channel. Whoa. Okay, moving on into the program. Why? Oh, life as a migrant. So yes, we have moved from the land of wood and water. That's for me and Miss Spirit, right? We have moved. And Irena, as a Ukrainian, has moved. So now that we've moved into what my friend Sandy Heron, my sister, another Jamaican, doing her thing, another creative soul, wrote a book about journey into the unknown. So yes, we have journeyed into the unknown. Life as a migrant as it is. Let's hear from Irena. Wagwan of Jamaica. Life as a migrant. How are you managing? How are you coping? And your kids? I don't know. You didn't tell us how old the kids were or are now, but we want to hear life as a migrant. Let's hear what's going on. Let's bring Irena back on the screen.
Yep. All right. Okay. So yeah, first to answer the question about kids, my kids are currently 14 and 16 years old. But when we came, they were only 8 and 10, so they were still small. But living in Jamaica as a migrant, it's actually, it depends. In most cases, it's not too difficult because people always see you they just assume you're a tourist. And it can be a good thing and a bad thing. If I want to go to an all-inclusive hotel, people would just look at me like, yeah, sure. Yeah, you're probably staying here, right? So they just assume. There was once when my husband and we went fish hunting. And we were like, we have the license. So we went to get the fish. And as we were swimming, we got, towards Hilton Hotel. And we were like, we're too tired to swim back. So let's just get out on the Hilton Beach and walk through and get to a highway and get a route taxi back or something, or just walk along the highway. So we came out on this Hilton Beach with our fish guns. There's a spare fishing gun, and with some fish. And we were just walking through Hilton. And the security guards, they were like, this is weird. These are these tourists? Why do they have a spare fish gun? Why do they have, what's going on? But nobody said anything. They were just looking at us as we were like barefoot, full the gear. Nobody said anything. Well, try that for a Jamaican person to actually do that. They would have stopped him or, and would have asked questions, but they didn't. So they didn't ask us questions, even though it was obvious that there was something wrong with us, right? We were not obviously staying in Hilton.
Oh
and as we were coming out of Hilton, right, that's when security guard was like, hello, what, are you coming back? And we're like, no, we're not staying here, sorry, we just decided to pass through. So on these occasions, I do have an advantage of being a foreigner and obviously looking like a foreigner, and you know, I can just do things that basically other people wouldn't have been able to do.
Yes, because Jamaicans love brown skinned people.
Exactly. Exactly.
We love
now, so there is this problem, you know, that can be effective, but it works the other way around against me as well. Because obviously, if I go to a local market, even if I try to use a little bit of patois, these are not the prices I'm going to get. Do you know what I mean, right? People assume I'm a tourist. There was once, I was taking a route taxi. I was driving a truck, okay? I have an old truck that is broken down now, so I'm not driving it. But I used to drive an old truck, and it broke down, so I had to take a route taxi from downtown. And as I was going on the route taxi, it was just a route taxi, but I was the only person in the car. And the driver was chatting to me like, oh, you know, and I said to him like, yes, I live in Jamaica and everything. So as I got to my destination, I was giving him like 160 Jamaican dollars, which is a fee, right? The regular route taxi fee. He was like, no, you need to give me like $20, 20 US. I'm like, why? He said, well, because you chartered me. I said, well, even a chartered taxi is not that much. Do you know? And it was like that kind of tension. I mean, it doesn't really happen often. Like, I've been here for 6 years. It doesn't really often, you know, happen that often. But you do get this assumption. Yes. And also people assume I'm rich. They go like, oh, yes, rich. Yep. All right. Yep. And that's like this kind of attitude does make it difficult sometimes. And you have, but I haven't really experienced any like racial kind of situations, you know.
Yes, I was about to ask you, how about discrimination?
In Jamaica, the only 2 times I actually experienced racism against me was once coming from a Jamaican person who spent all of her life in Canada and came to Jamaica on holiday. And from the other gentleman who's Jamaican, but he spent all of his life in the US and came to Jamaica. You know, it's like, but from Jamaicans, never, until I created a YouTube channel. That's where I learned some comments, you know. I mean, it does represent actually the reality. 99.9% of the people and comments and everything I ever encounter in Jamaica is always so positive, because the people are so amazing here. You know, it's just incredible. This makes it easier to be a migrant here. It might be more difficult for people who go to the US, actually. So, but we can learn from Brenda about that. So, yes, because I have no idea what it's like for Japan. So I would like to hear your story as well. And I'm sure some people would also want to know, right? But for me, living as a migrant in Jamaica is actually not too bad. It can be very difficult on certain occasions, but in general, it's easier than in England, I would say. It is definitely easier than in the UK. Absolutely. Because in Britain, I was discriminated quite a lot, actually. It was really weird, but that was the case, unfortunately. You know, I spent 6 years in England and 6 years in Jamaica, so I can compare, you know.
Yes, you have that opportunity. The Good Live Family Vlog says, my husband said Irena have great videos on her channel. He's a fan of her for a long time now.
That's very nice.
Her channel is a bomb. Like, I can learn a lot from her channel, even though she just started like 3 months ago. I'll go over and I'll be like, okay, so Irena said that I could do that in the Japanese version, you know? So we have a lot to learn from each other.
You should. I think more channels like should be created by foreigners, because only a foreigner can actually see, you know, from the outside. It's very like, the reason I'm not doing a channel about Ukraine is because I don't know much about Ukraine. I really don't. I mean, ask me about places in Ukraine. I have no idea.
You hit the nail on the head.
No, but that's true.
Bring Brenda in to chime in on this, because a lot of times we don't know much about our own countries.
But there is a reason. There is a reason why this is the case. You see, when you're born in some place, you kind of grow up, you learn about things from childhood, and these things don't look different to you or strange or interesting, because these are like everyday things we do. We don't see them as something special. And that is why not just difficult, it's impossible for anyone coming from a country to actually see it, what it's like for a foreigner to experience this country on a like living or touring, or like, you know. And that is why channels that are created by foreigners about a country would usually feature more information, because they see things and they don't just take them for granted. They go like, oh, why is that? You know, we don't have that back home, so why is it? And that's why I'm not
interesting about Irena, that when I saw some of your videos, I said to myself, oh my gosh, I've been living in Jamaica for over 30 years and I can't believe I didn't know that. I didn't go that place. And it's the same feeling I get whenever I speak with, whenever I meet up with my friend from Guatemala. Claudia can bring me to some places and I'm like, Claudia, how did you know these places? I've been living here all my life. And then another thing too is that when you grow up in a country where you see everything, you see the struggles, you suffer at the hand of politicians and the this and the that, and you're not there to enjoy life. You're there to work your ass off and make
very
a
good
living.
points.
So you know.
Exactly, that's another thing. You just would hit the nail on the head, like you said. That's another thing. When you live in a country, you're not thinking of, oh, should I go to waterfalls or should I go to a beach? You know, you don't have this kind of, you know, holiday attitude. You have to, you know, sort out your everyday things. You need to see, oh, I need to go to the tax office today. I need to do that. And of course, the country looks to you in a very completely different way. And also, the kind of people depends on in which community you grow up, and the people who you like kind of hang around with. These would be a small group of people, really, because you go to school, you have your group of people, you have your family and your neighbors, and that's it. You don't really explore your own country. Like I was born in Kiev, in Ukraine. I mean, I don't even know Kiev that well because I would only know the kind of community or the area where I live, you know, so I would know the people around and I would think that all people in Ukraine are like that, but they are not. They're not.
And that's another point too. Like Brenda is like dying to get up here now, but that's another point. Our view on our own country will be determined by our experiences. So people who are living in one area, let's say downtown and uptown, because we know it's real in Jamaica.
It's very different too.
You're gonna have a different view of Jamaica than if you're from uptown. And when you go to foreign lands, for example, Japan, and they know nothing about Jamaica but what they read about on Google or you know what they see on TV, then what you tell them, oh, chicken back and rice is one of my favorite food. While another person might say, oh, I like shrimp, I like sushi. I've been to Japanese restaurants. I've never been to a Japanese restaurant in Jamaica. We can't afford it. We couldn't afford it. It's too expensive.
Yeah, I went once for my husband's birthday. It was what, $6,500 Jamaican dollars was like, I don't know, almost $60 US for like what, 10 sushi.
Then you know me, I go take that money and buy some grocery because the struggle is real. Yeah. But hey, let's bring Brenda in because we know she watch her. Come, Brenda.
Brenda. Like I love your face. It's like expressions golden.
I'm telling you. Brenda, life as a migrant. Oh yeah, manage what going over there.
Oh, we cannot hear you. Oh, why can't I hear you? Oh, because your microphone is mute, Brenda. Your microphone. Right, okay, now it's good. Yes, go on.
This struggle is everywhere. No, I've been roaming around since I was 3. And being the last of, you get to be sent to spaces and places. You know, everybody have a little cousin. And so they pair you with a little cousin. But even those 7 years in Jamaica, I was roaming around Jamaica. I had Kingston, I had Spanish Town, I had Mandarin. You add life in the US when I came here. See, coming in at 3, you don't know Jack. Coming in at 13, I'm coming in with 7 years of Jamaica. I'm not coming in as an American. I'm American on paper. I'm British born of Jamaican heritage living in America. Yes, I can claim being British. I was born there, can hold that passport. The movements around, one finds there's a couple of key things in what you two were saying about folks not necessarily looking at taking staycations. You see, when you're raised in that country people take time to live. City people are chasing the dollar. That same mindset is how I move around the United States. Connecticut, Hartford, Connecticut is one of the most politically cohesive West Indian and Caribbean communities in North America and Canada. Why? Jamaicans are go there since dog years. When you find, and there are places where Jamaicans have been going since the late 1800s, the early 1910s, 20s, and 30s. Sometimes we don't think about them because we don't know somebody's great-great-grandfather. But their great-great-grandfather may have did farm work in Connecticut. And him come one and then bring over the friend. And she work a house duty and I take care of picnic. And then meet a club and then get married. And then they begin the legacy of Jamaicans across the diaspora. And they move, because even those children that come up out of Connecticut, mind you know, they have fresh air. It's not in a concrete jungle. It look like the back end of Clarendon, a piece of Manchester. The key is, where can I go to find that boom, except that they have snow. Now, not against Florida, but like somebody tell me, say, them born out of the ghetto, them raised out of the jungle, and then find them where I'm going to live a country. They were not coming into America to go find ghetto and go find jungle. They want the country aspect. Hence, you have many who may have initially come as farm workers. Now, farm workers or transit workers, those terms have changed because they're not necessarily working the land anymore. They're working hotels. They're working resorts.
Yes.
They're working places like Boeing. They're coming to do technology work. They're coming to do engineers. But when you come and you plant yourself based on, and your teachers and your nurses, because you have some of the programs who are now saying, I'm not just going to take you, the individual, mega sponsor you, your husband, and your picnic. So there you go, a whole family migrating. But where do they go? They may go to Nebraska. Regular people know them know New York, Florida, California, Atlanta. Maybe stick in one of the two other states if they know somebody who did what? Went to college on a scholarship. Our Jamaican scholarships are given a whole nother flow of migrancy because they've gone into places like Indiana, Illinois, Nebraska, Milwaukee, Wisconsin. And that's where you can find yard people, again, based on all these various types of migrancy. But when they come in, what do? In Connecticut, in Hartford, you can find a club, a literal social center for all the various islands. You have St. Kitts Nevis. You have the West Indian American. You have the Caribbean American. You have all them little islands have a spot. So when something happens, they galvanize as one. I speak about this issue of migrancy because it talks about being involved in the community that you are. So you don't leave yard behind. You don't leave Trinidad behind. My thing is always connecting the dots across the diaspora. That's where the drum and the food come from. But even being here in America, you're able to have and possibly be part of that Jamaican or other island experience. Now, the kicker is where you're there, do it. I've done it in Brooklyn, New York. When I was in Philly, I don't say yard people about, but you never see them much. The numbers are rising now. Remember, I'm 55 years old, so I'm seeing things over time. Connecticut, like I said, that was in my 20s to my 30s. There's still a strong hold. But now you have people who are traveling into America, migrating to America, and coming direct to South Carolina, coming direct to Nebraska, direct to Milwaukee, a 48 backside state, plus an upper and a lower. You know how fit tan and crunch up in New York and Florida, wherever. You want your food? What has COVID taught us? We can order that bad boy and breadfruit come at your door.
Wow.
All right. The key thing is also, wherever we go, the rest follow. So if you want to create a community, you come in and you do like she did. Let me start a business. Now she's laid a foundation for another Ukrainian to come in.
Yes.
She's laid a foundation for Ukrainian exchange going on. She's a Ukrainian ambassador to Jamaica. Just like how them one said, me an ambassador at large, bam. Because she's already know the lay of the land, working the land, living the land, walking the land, being with people. If you not do so, you're not allowing yourself to live. You can't just come and say, all right, now come in. Bam, when we come, but all my people them already set up in New York, they're gonna turn right there. So what more are you gonna get? That's still a lot of codependency, a lot of enabling. It's not flight. Me not a flight. I've been taught, I've been to so many blooming schools. I don't care where you drop me and I know how to say hello. That's how it comes, because we're able to associate and assimilate and flow through. And
that's very, very good points.
Yeah, let me work on that word assimilate.
Yes, do that.
Yes, when we migrate and we come to other places, we are asked to become another person.
Yes, talk about it.
My home, yard in my home. I could cook in my home, breadfruit there in my home, fish, soup, no hamburger. Listen, if hamburgers came about, mommy made them. If French fries came about, she cut the potatoes. None of them things that were out there. So America was outside the door. Jamaica was in my home. So even though I would be told, you know, bande, not no dead feel, queer. When me there yard, what them say, make your chat somebody. You chat what's already the one, then what live here. But again, I already had my first language down pat, because we know that patois is a language.
It is. It is Jamaican Creole language. That's what it is.
Yes, it is. And because I'm connecting the dots across the diaspora, and I live where? In the low country of the United States, among the Gullah Geechee. The Gullah Geechee are the same amalgamation of, per se, the makeup of the Maroons, which means all those African nations came together. As Miss Lou would say, we mix up and we blend up and we flowing. But here, if you wanted to, when you say, how can I find the most African, the most what come from the motherland in America, it's in the low country Gullah Geechee territory. Charleston, South Carolina was always been one of the largest slave ports in the world. Now it ships BMWs, baby. If you check your record books on the Canadian side and you think of the Book of Negroes and they speak of Charlestown, they're talking about Charleston, South Carolina. Founded in 1670. When I stood in Worthy Plantation in the midst of all them cane fields and could feel the ancestors around me, knowing the fact Worthy was founded 1670, same damn time as Charleston, South Carolina. Those were all part of the same Africans who may have got dropped off in different spaces and places. That's why Pisa with that all over the place. But again, that's my thing. That's why I could say, okay, so when winter hit, again, like her, I'm running from the cold. The low country does not involve snow. It snows here once every 10 years. And when it did that time, I was in Ecuador. Me would find sun. Me would find
sun. But show off for me because me can't run from the cold.
Yeah, because you got it there, but no, I wasn't on the cold climates.
Kari, you need to share some about your situation in Japan. What is it like for you? I'd love to hear that. So come on, just make yourself like big on the screen. So I want to know what kind of experience you get in Japan.
Okay, I'll do that now. So I'll just remove you guys and Yeah, so my story about being a migrant in Japan. First of all, in my field of work, my occupation, I'm seen as the epitome. I write word may I use? Sorry. It's almost 11 o'clock. Yes, I'm seen as the epitome of moral and standards. And yes, once you are called a teacher in Japan, you are revered, you are honored. Yoroshiku onegai shimasu. Peer bowings to your name. Yeah. Just like how we see lawyers and doctors in Jamaica. Oh, your cousin a lawyer? What? I pick something that you know. What, you have a friend with a doctor? Where say? I believe that we do value teachers in Jamaica, but not as they would want to be valued, because we still have that thing where, oh, you're a teacher, wow. Or you ask children, what do you want to become? And they say, teacher, teacher, soldier, police. So yes, but in Japan, it's like on the same level as lawyers and doctors. So that's the first thing. You are not supposed to be doing anything that seems unethical and immoral, because you're going to bring down the standard of the occupation. With that said, when you work in a school as a teacher, any school at all, it's as if you're a celebrity. So if you feel like you don't like that celebrity life and the limelight and the attention, maybe working as a teacher in Japan is not for you. I'm sure that almost 1 in every 10 persons, if I don't know statistics so well, but yes, many persons have those experiences where kids will just come, 40 kids lined up one time, want me to sign their hand, their books, their most treasured possessions, because they want to sit beside me, especially the younger ones. You're seen like a celebrity. Everybody want to talk to you. Hello, hi. And sometimes I feel like the Japanese teachers are a little bit jealous, because when Katie step in the classroom, of course, if you're an awesome person, have an awesome personality like me, you know, you kind of look different. Yeah, some men say, yeah, I'm gonna blow my own iron still, but yeah. Oh, Katie, we love you. So yeah, you have that celebrity thing going on as a migrant in this whole different world, because as you know, it's very, very different from Jamaica, right? The celebrity, the other part of the celebrity side is where you get stared at. So your hair is different, your skin color is different, so the stares do come. Why do you feel like, sorry, you get the stares. You go on the train and you're the only black person or the only foreigner, you get the stares. You go in a restaurant, you get the stares. Persons might even nudge, maybe you go with a Japanese friend, they might nudge the Japanese friend and ask, where's she from? Yeah, so you do get that level of attention. Again, as I said, if you're not able to deal with it, you can't live here, because anywhere you go, it doesn't matter if you're living in a big city or a countryside, especially the rural side where they've never seen nothing like this before. Only on TV them see people with this. What? Oh, come your hand middle different. This is light, but this is. Can it come off? Yeah, you cannot be offended, because you will get some questions that are obviously coming from a point of ignorance. So yes, that's another thing. I hope you guys are, this is not being disturbed by, there's like an ambulance, an emergency vehicle passing by. That's one aspect. There's another aspect where persons might be afraid of you because of what they're told, especially kids. Some Japanese tell their kids that foreigners are scary based on movies that they watch, because, you know, technology has increased. So it's not like centuries ago when they were locked off from the entire world. Now they're opened up in a way where they can see the movies and stuff. And I don't know why they always give Black people those roles where it seem like, say, we are the worst. Not always, but you know what I mean. So you might see some kids running who literally scared. Not only that, because you look different. What's that? What's that? I'm not used to that. You can't get offended. There might be adults who see you. They tend to do this, like, can they walk any further away from me? I don't know if they do it with their fellow Japanese, but yeah, we're walking on the same road. There is enough space for us. You can pass here, I can pass. We're not so fat. And they tell us sometimes them come like them go out in a car. So I say, yeah, go on, go on, go on. Can you go further enough? Can you go far enough? That sometimes they see you coming and they cross the road long before you even catch up to them. And at one point I say, I'm going to be chosen and cross the road again. I say, you know what, allow them. Sometimes it's not even about you. It's just their personality. But because you know you're already different and you're already so unique in this big land, everything take on. So that's another thing, you can't take everything personally. Because sometimes they're just have that humble where, or they don't want to brush against somebody, or they don't want to, you know, they don't want to hit you or anything. So they just give you the way, that type of stuff. Right, so what else? Oh, on the train, you might find there are many foreigners who talk about not being sit beside, the people don't sit beside them because they're a foreigner or because they're Black or whatever, but they get that passive aggressive type racism, not the full on that you would say, oh, well, some persons do get that too, especially when people are drunk. They might say things, but if I don't know the language, I don't care what you're saying, as long as you don't touch me. But yeah, that happens sometimes too. Yeah, so people don't sit beside your train because, and of course, I recommend do not take things personally, because sometimes they don't sit beside their fellow Japanese as well. If you don't understand the language, sometimes it can be daunting because you don't even know what they're saying. So they love to laugh, especially younger ones. They giggle. You might be passing and thinking that they're laughing at you. Well, they might be laughing at you for real because you have a big ass and you have hips and they're not used to that. And they think that looks funny. So, yeah, that too. Positives, they are quite friendly and kind to foreigners for the most part. Some are rude, of course, everywhere you go. It's not heaven, land of milk and honey. So they'll be very, very helpful to you. And if they see you struggling with something, especially if they can speak a little English, they want to show off, like they went to Canada or wherever to study for a little while, did homestay or whatever, and they want to use it because they don't get much opportunity to use it, then they'll say, oh, hi, are you looking for something? And oh, Japanese, you speak well for Japanese, you speak English well, okay, yeah, and they'll follow you from one end to the next, and trust me, them love run. Customer service in Japan is exceptional. They will run up and down just to sort you out. So they will run and find for you and help you. Yes, you get that a lot. You get Bolipa gifts. Like, I think I should show you guys one that I got. But anyways, another time, you get a whole lot of stuff that you can treasure and you can keep that forever to say, yeah, I did get this in Japan. People did actually like me and give me this. The older persons, if you're living in a rural area, they will come and they want to give you some stuff that maybe food items that you've never tasted before. They want you to experience their culture. Like when I just moved to this apartment. My 60-year-old neighbor, you'd see some videos on my channel about him, Mickey. Mickey came over and he said, "Oh, invite 3 of your friends. I want to cook okonomiyaki. It's a traditional Japanese food." And I said, "Okay, well, I was only able to invite one." And she came and I was so shocked. He brought his hot plate and the ingredients, everything. He didn't want me to pay for anything. He didn't want me to do anything. And he cooked for me. And so a lot of them, especially if they're open-minded and they know about your country or they want to learn more about your culture, you will get that sort of nice, really, really great feeling, right? Life as a migrant for me is different for everyone, and I will tell you that you cannot measure your experience with another person's experience, because you might come to Japan and it's not the same for you. For me, it's more good than bad. Some persons come to Japan and the moment them come, them want to go home because things not nice, things not right. Beer things are gone. When I like this, peer things, So yeah, it's been good so far. Maybe because I'm kind of like I care zero about what people say, and I'm a flexible individual, and because of my personality, I can deal with all sorts of personalities. So you have persons who low key don't want to see you, but then pretend like them shy, and I can deal with that. So that's basically how it's been. How do I deal with not knowing the language so well? I only know like basic expressions. For the most part, I use Translate, Google Translate. It's there to be used. And I try to learn the basic stuff so I can get around. I've been managing so far, and thanks be to God, there are persons who I can count on to help me with certain things. So some things are still like ancient day things in Japan. Them still in a full Japanese, no English translation. Some things you just have to have a Japanese person, a native speaker to help you with. And I have my Japanese mom, I'm a Japanese big sister, I have my Japanese friends and some teachers who can. One thing, they're more than enough for them. So, if you don't want them to talk about your business, don't go to them for help. But yeah, I have persons who I can rely on to help. And that makes a whole lot of difference. Because can you imagine if, for example, we get an application in the mail and we don't know over, may use Google Translate, but the translator tell me say dog. Sometimes the translator is crazy. So yeah, that's how I manage. That's how I manage so far. And in the early stages too, I met other foreigners who showed me the rope. They've been living here for a while and they say, okay, if you want cheap clothes, you can go this. That makes a lot of difference to get to know people who can speak your language and what the same, brothers and sisters type things. So they can show you, say, all right, if you need to send off a package to Jamaica, this is what you can do. Also support groups, Facebook, WhatsApp, mainly Facebook. Have support groups, so there's also a group that can search for anything you want to search for. You can search for it and get some information. So yeah, the internet has helped a lot too. That's how I've been dealing with it. Let me bring Irene back up, and I want to hear that story about how it took you 19 years to settle.
Right.
Irena,
thank you so much for sharing.
Any more questions?
Thank you so much for sharing. This is certainly a very interesting situation and experience you have living in Japan. And I've never been to Japan, by the way. I've traveled almost 50 countries. Well, actually, it's 52 countries now. But I've never been to Japan. I'd like to go. I'd like to come and see, and because I've heard a lot of interesting things about this country. But living there is too cold for me. Thank you very much. No, it's too cold in Japan. Now, Well, for me, it's anything is too cold when it's like 20 degrees Celsius or lower. That's too cold. But anyway, with the situation in my case, right, because I come from a rather poor family. I was born in the Soviet Union, and most people in Soviet Union were either poor or very poor. You'd never had like this kind of middle class or upper class in Soviet Union. You did have the politicians or like someone in the top communist party who would be rich, but they would hide their wealth, right? It was actually embarrassing to be rich in the Soviet Union. It was something like, frowned upon. So you had to be poor to be a decent person, or very poor. That was really encouraged. So anyway, so our family was kind of struggling. And in 1986, it was Chernobyl that happened close to my city, which was a huge ecological disaster, basically, that resulted in a lot of people being harmed, basically. For many years ahead, it has been influencing Ukraine. Ukraine has very top rates for cancer because of that and all that kind of stuff. So anyway, when that happened, I was only 6 years old, and my parents took me to Siberia with an attempt to run away from the consequences of Chernobyl. So we went to Siberia, and where we lived for 3 years. And that's where I developed my hatred for winter, because I did actually get in a snowstorm and almost died. And so that's when I realized that, no, I hate that. I don't want to go into details, but it wasn't particularly a very fun life to live, to be honest. And one of the days I went to school, and a teacher in a science class, it's called in English, like studying science class, she told us that there were some countries that had no winter. She was talking about Africa, actually. She said, well, listen, this is where, the sun is like always summer. And I was 8, and I came back home from that lesson, opened the door to my home. My parents were there, and I was like, Mom and Dad, when I grow up, I'm going to live in Africa. And everybody was laughing, simply because it was not possible for people from the Soviet Union to leave Soviet Union. We needed to get a visa that would allow us to leave. And to get that visa, you had to prove that you were not a spy, which was not possible to prove. We were behind the Iron Curtain, so there was no way. And, but luckily, Soviet Union broke up. The first time I left Soviet Union was we went to Mongolia, and Mongolia was socialistic kind of thing. So we were allowed to go there, but we had to get all the visas to be able, one visa to Mongolia and another visa to leave the Soviet Union. So we had to get 2.
Wow.
So that was, it was ridiculous. Anyway, so it wasn't particularly easy. And my parents, however, they decided to take a lot of risks. They worked really hard, and they, when the Soviet Union broke up and nobody knew what people could do. And, business in Soviet Union was considered a crime. So if you did any business, you were committing a criminal offense. So you could be arrested and placed in jail for 10 years.
Oh my gosh.
Yes. And that's exactly what's happening to people who were trying to do some sort of business, any business, like you would get the goods and sell them at a higher price, right? That was something illegal. And when the Soviet Union broke up, these rules were kind of ignored because nobody knew what to do. So my parents decided to do business. And of course, that was at the edge of being legal by the standards of that country at that time in the 1990s. And it also became an exceptionally difficult thing to do because you could simply be killed, because that's how business was done. You're doing business, and the guys come and tell you, like, okay, you're doing business then. My parents were selling tiles for rooms. So they started getting tiles and for the construction of houses, like the interior design kind of stuff. And they were getting them from Czech Republic and from Europe, delivering to Ukraine and selling there. But the thing is, though, you were not really legally allowed to do that. It was like you couldn't pay for these items to Czech Republic or to Europe anywhere because you were not allowed to hold foreign currency. So, I mean, man, it's a very long story. Anyway, to cut the story short, okay, there would be a group of people who would come to your office and tell you, like, you either pay us or we're going to kill you. So, and then the other group would come and say the same. So you had to find the strongest group, bribe them, so they will protect you from the other bandits and other criminals.
Oh.
So that was the kind of system in 1980s. Yes. Anyway, so there were quite a lot of problems, and but I studied at school and I won some of the competitions for maths and physics because I was really good at these subjects. And my parents decided to push that and so that I would be able to apply to study at some of the best institutions in England. But of course, it was very expensive. But because my parents started doing business, they started getting the money so they would be able to pay. So basically, it was like that. We lived in one of the worst countries and conditions in Siberia for 3 years. Then we moved to Ukraine and we were super poor. Like, we lived in a one-bedroom apartment and it was absolutely horrible. And within just 2 years, my parents basically went from rags to riches. But it was also a risk that we were going to be killed because of that, even though they were not really doing anything illegal. But it was at the edge of a lot of people were, anyway, it's very complicated. So my parents decided to get rid of me by sending me somewhere. So they sent me to Czech Republic first, and I studied there, because they had business partners, so they could do that. Then they sent me to Slovakia. Then so basically they kept sending me to different countries until I was able to get education in Britain. So they sent me there. Anyway, and I understood that I had to study English. So that's when I kind of count my, journey towards Jamaica. That's when I began studying English. And it took me 6 years to get my English first, right? And I also understood that I had to create some form of passive income or some form of online income as it was coming there, like the online business was. Because I certainly didn't want to do any business like my parents did. It was absolutely crazy. It was super dangerous in Ukraine at that time. Now it's easier. Now Ukraine is completely different. I mean, it's one of the top corrupted countries in the world. Yay! Nothing to be proud of. God. But anyway, but that's, but Ukraine is so much better now. And there are a lot of opportunities in Ukraine now as well. But back then in the 90s, it was a nightmare. So, yes, crazy time. Anyway, so when I learned English, people started asking me if I could teach them IELTS. IELTS is a British exam that people need to take if they want to study in Britain or in Canada or in Australia or in the US, or if they want to immigrate, right? And because I managed to get a very high score for IELTS, people started, asking me, can you help us? So I started helping them. So I began teaching them. And yes, that's how I got into teaching. And I began teaching online in 2004, when there was no Skype, there was no proper online kind of, tools. I already began teaching online through emails, through phone calls, these kind of things, And so at the end, that's how I began creating my online business. And that was eventually the business that allowed me to have some form of income online and allowed me to live pretty much in any place in the world and still be able to survive and continue my studies and, so on, and study and teach online. And that's what I did. And that's exactly it took me 12 years to do that. So 6 years of studying English, then 12 years of building this online business. So 18 years already. And then when I was 33, I realized, I had to make a first move. And I had to, search for a place where I can relocate and where there is no winter. So that's how I decided to pursue my goal. I'm actually planning to make a video on my first trip to Jamaica and how it happened. It was a very dramatic experience. I'm going to tell more about it in my video coming this Sunday, actually. But so then it took me about 1 year to prepare all the documents and get things sorted so that I would be able to come to Jamaica. And here I am, 6 years, still have no citizenship for Jamaica. So, and I don't even have a permit to remain. I have a work permit, which runs out in December. And let me see if they're going to renew it, or they decide that, no, you talk too much about Jamaica, just leave. I don't know.
I think they will. You've been.
I'll see. I can apply. I can apply for permit to remain now in Jamaica, but
yeah, you've been quite an awesome ambassador. Someone even commented on one of your videos that the tourist board should hire you because you're doing such an awesome job in promoting Ireland.
They did actually contact me. The tourist board, JTB Europe, contacted me. They wanted me to promote Jamaica to Russian speakers because they said, well, since you know Russian language and Ukrainian language, and you can promote this, the whole tourist product to Ukrainian and Russian speakers. But the thing is, the market share for Russian speakers is very low at the moment. But let's see if we'll be able to change that. It's just very expensive for Ukrainians or Russians to travel to Jamaica. It's just crazy expensive, like ridiculously expensive.
And
but I think, go on.
Do you think they would actually be interested? I mean,
there were some tours coming from charters coming from Russia to Jamaica, and they were quite successful, I must say. They were quite good. I mean, the share of people who could afford that wasn't that big. But still, just to give you an idea, it costs $250 per person to go for 10 days holiday to Turkey. Like, why would all-inclusive hotel? $250.
Oh my gosh.
And you have all-inclusive, you have ocean, you have everything in Turkey, right? So why would they be willing to spend somewhere around $1,500 or like $2,000 per person to go to Jamaica? Tell me.
Yeah.
we need to bring something to the table while they will think, you know what? I'm not going to go to Turkey for 5 years. I'm going to get my money and go to Jamaica instead. Do you know?
Yes,
but we need to show them why, because most people don't even know what Jamaica is about. They don't realize why, So that's the thing.
Like
but there were some
had a reason up front. Let's look at a little bit on the comments.
Yes. Yeah.
Connected confident. One big Irish play. Bless up. Life of a dove. Hello, girl. You're not sleeping. She's a Jamaica.
I know Life of a Dove. She's in Japan.
Yes.
Yes, I know Life of a Dove. Yeah, she's in Japan. She's got a YouTube channel as well.
Right. You know well.
Yes, I know. Yes, I know Connected Confident. Yeah, I know Connected Confident. I think from the YouTube notice. YouTube sent me a notice that Connected Confident placed my video on his channel and YouTube removed it or something.
Oh,
I'm
really?
not sure. I don't know. Probably was put in a video about like either one of my videos or something. I have no idea. It's just YouTube sent me a message about it.
Yeah.
So that's how I know the nickname, Irena.
Michelle Hunter, she is a Jamaican living in the US. She is awesome. Like, I'm so proud of my sister. She is studying to become a pediatrician, and she's been studying for years.
Cool. The Life of Dove?
Michelle Hunter. So she knows what it's like to be a trooper, and she's like, "Oh wow, you're a trooper, Irene."
Oh.
My daughter is one of my YouTube mentors. Oh, Irena, thanks for the early warning on the video. And Rasta Clark is a Jamaican living in the UK. He went back to Jamaica just the other day too. Miss Spirit, you're back. Let's bring you back on the screen.
Yes.
And I'm going for breakfast. Soon come. Blessings, everyone. All right. We're going to open
always been here.
Alive.
No, just because I turn off my camera and my mute, trust me, I'm right here.
Okay.
Exactly.
I ain't going nowhere. Okay.
You think it is gone.
Ariana,
Sorry,
I'm not saying it right. Irena?
Irena. Yeah, Irena.
Irena, here's the key. Call back JTB Europe. Because what JTB Europe is not looking at, I can tell you some of the largest Ukrainian and Russian populations are in Brooklyn and Queens, New York.
Thank you. Exactly.
Where they are. Those communities have not stopped speaking their mother tongue. So
tell me about
JTB Europe.
Darling,
Come
you're
on, baby, I'm
so
coming out of
right.
Bushwick.
There are
The
the
back end of
biggest,
it was all the Baltic. All the
and
Baltic.
Canada,
Yes,
guys, there's like the biggest Ukrainian communities in Canada,
yes.
right? And in Brooklyn, there's the biggest Russian community. There are so many Russian speakers in the US and Canada, and they're not coming to Jamaica.
Because they're not being marketed to correctly.
Brenda,
Wow.
you're a genius. Exactly. These are very good points.
I
Very
connect
good.
the dots, baby. That's what I do.
You're doing a great
That's
job.
what she does.
Because I'm
She
sitting
does
here
her job.
laughing. I'm laughing at the fact when you said to her, bam,
Okay.
they didn't call you about being an ambassador yet. I didn't name me. The people named me.
No, Brenda,
And I'm
you should be
laughing
the
when she
ambassador,
said,
darling.
oh, but so-and-so did. See, it's all about how you're going to market and who you're going to market to. There is no need. I feel a niche market that is quite different. I'm not Jamaican born, but I yard my people them come from. I pull on a different type of heartstring. And then because I can't chat patois, I can't slip into a whole nother measure. But there was a statement that was said when we're looking about the issue of Jamaican citizenship. A friend of mine who, listen, she's got a book out there called Fawn Mackenzie, Beloved Today. I love it because her pen is wicked, but that's not her day job. Writing is her passion. The key thing is she just yesterday, can stand up there and know that a completed application has gone in for Jamaican citizenship by descent. It's a big issue, especially in these COVID times when people are looking for some place to run. Now, mind you, I did say I'm British born of Jamaican heritage. The very first passport I traveled on a 3-year-old was a Jamaican passport. In going back and forth, now mind you, I was in Jamaica as a Jamaican, yet a green card for the United States. But my parents moved me as a Jamaican. So at 3 years, my day yard before me go back after my first trip, and immigration held me at 10 years old. I came in with Abby. Abby's an American citizen. She gone through. Here I am, green card holder, haven't been back in America in 3 years. Hold up. Let's call who come to get you over the loudspeaker. So me and immigration, I'll go back for a long time. There was an act of parliament that happened in Jamaica in 2005 that stripped away the rights of people like me who previously held a Jamaican passport. We had been given that passport by nature of the fact that our parent was Jamaican born. That right is gone. We now have to apply for Jamaican citizenship by descent. Which was all original documentation.
Is it the whole Windrush situation? Is it the whole Windrush situation, Brenda?
It's every blasted thing. Whatever it is, them to notify you because, all right, I remember when mommy was dying, I needed to go to Jamaica. In order for me to get a Jamaican passport, this was going to be about 6 months. UK saying, hey, here you are, got it within 24 hours, went down, didn't think about it. In my mind, you always say you're going to renew a Jamaican passport, but because they take 6 months to a friggin' year to do it, you left it to the side. Now, mind you, even if I'd had that book, because of the act of parliament that dash way, and it's a holy power them dash way, in the current surge of the past few years of encouraging Jamaicans to return home and retrieve their citizenship by descent, because you have to go through that process before they will give you a passport. They want nothing but original documents. No, mind you, me are 55. Mommy and daddy, they are Dovecut. Mommy been in Dovecut since 96.
Oh my
Imagine
God.
what one when there are many. So I have another friend who from the time Fiara picked me. She came to the US in Hutch. So she came as a Jamaican. See, it's all about the mindset that you're here. Were you born here and in a Jamaican household, or were you born here and in a Jamaican American household? It all depends on who married who, what community do you live in, and depending on if the mother is Jamaican and Jamaican to the core, Jamaica would be in the household. For some, it's the father, and he gets to inject as much as he can and hopefully bring the kids back and forth. Or, like many would do in America, if you're in Connecticut and you have that strong, no matter what you want the good juice in, you have to come down to the Bronx. Or come down to, if you want to go deep, deep, then you come down to Brooklyn and come to Flatbush. Because there's levels of being Jamaican in America. Here in Charleston, South Carolina, I live on the peninsula of Charleston. It is downtown. I live here because what? I don't drive. I live here because I saw banana trees in people's yards. I live here because I'm at some false tree called what? Palmetto. When you look for them, you swear say coconut are going to swing off it. No line. And them have hundreds of this backside tree. Them take it line the highways. Every landscaping includes the damn palmetto tree. It's the state tree. And it would look like it will have coconut and it don't have none. But
right now we end Irena. She have all of the coconut them down there.
But you have fish, you have crab, you have sea. I'm on the Atlantic. When the storm come off of Jamaica, it turn here. So the stuff off the Gulf don't necessarily turn here. But if it coming through that straight Caribbean, and then the waters we get. So you understand why I could move here, because it's the closest I could get to Jamaica and not have to say do Florida. Again, I don't drive. I seek good weather for my health. We can't chat much and appear cheery, but things are going on in the body. So that's why when I flow through Jamaica, listen, I was blessed. The video went viral. Kevin Scott of Kamichi Villa called me. I was up in Montego Bay. And it was like, when you get to Kingston, we got you. I went to Kingston for a weekend. It turned into 2 weeks, and then it turned into another month and a half. He does a program called Around Jamaica in 7 days. With what I learned from him on the first trip, because last year I was blessed. I'm big up everybody. Listen, let me tell you something.
Who is that, Brenda? Who's Kevin?
Somebody gave me air miles. It's not always money. I'm on a fixed income. I'm on disability. We live in a one room. I can afford when I'm down there because of my lifestyle and the way I flow. One time, I was able to make 3 trips totaling 7 months from March 2019 to March 2020 because of the grace of others. Even when I'm on the island, it's the grace of others. But fair exchange, but chat enough and shoot video. My videos put you there because my thing is I've got 13 nieces. Of the 13, one was born there, left as a baby. One has been able to travel back and forth as an older person. 2 went as children for the summer holiday, and another one went during infancy. The rest of them and their children, no touch yard. Them no feel yard. It's one thing to be a flag waver at a parade and attend everybody's carnival and have access to restaurants and be around enough people that you can bring the language forth. My daughter's father had never been to Jamaica, but you couldn't tell him nothing. East New York bread, baby, Miller Avenue. That at Jamaica, they're right there, so. Yard food, yard clothes, yard flow. May he rest in heaven. But he never touched that.
Wow.
I have in my mind, have to bridge, not just for my recollection's sake of not being old enough to move around Jamaica and discover it on my own. I left at 13. Any other time had been under family business, family situation, this, that, and the other. I mean, if I'm moved around as a grown woman, it's a different type of journey.
Yes.
Right? So when you come into that first trip, your car guided, you take a Knutsford, you do a move thing, you get the lay of the land. By the second trip, I wouldn't start in Committee, but drop the bag in my Committee. Within 2 days, I'm in St. Elizabeth, Knutsford. All right. Take a car, come out of this, so come up through, buck off my toe in a Hanover, come through because we got August morning. Because it's certain things only happen once a year. And I live in a place, Charleston, South Carolina, is very similar to Jamaica in that the world flocks here. It is one of the world's #1 tourist destinations year-round because of its mild weather.
No.
It's in not only American history and Black history, but overall world history because of the transatlantic slave trade and Middle Passage remembrance. So when coming here, I got to document things that weren't happening anywhere else in America. So again, we core in the drum and the food. So when I go to my yard, I see something I look for. We don't always have coming out because people say it leads to certain things and only come from certain parishes. And in their minds, it's not marketed. It is because it's in dance hall. But people not looking at the legacy of the history of mental and ska and kumina, what it gives us, it comes out in our current cultural expression. And being able to connect the dots and drop seeds into minds and refresh those, because remember, some in the UK, Canada, and America, and a few other countries will never go back to Jamaica. Their lives are forever changed based on their family makeup. Some have 1 and 2 relatives, some have no ties. I have heard from those who know that they are of Jamaican blood, but nobody is even left here in America to guide them on their journey there. By the 3rd trip, they knock out Knutsford altogether. Chichi, bus, coaster, and taxi. Bottom line.
We need to meet up next time you're in Jamaica.
Done deal.
Oh, yes.
I'd love to meet you in person. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Awesome.
Your personality is so vibrant. You're so awesome. It just really
migrants
and of course, Kadi, if you ever make a trip to Jamaica from Japan, I don't know. Are you planning a trip to Jamaica, Kadi?
Yeah, of course.
Where are you planning?
Irena, that she's amazing. I told you. That's why
you don't know what I'm going to you see me out at the airport with my coconut water and split. Hey, see me out at the airport. Then you know something, because I never know where I'm going. Last time, I'm telling you, I got blessed. Somebody sent me air miles. The key about it is my health is
that's brilliant.
Up. You know, my health is that jacked up that if somebody say heat, the suitcase stay packed. What? There's no reason to pack it. I got clothes down there. All I need, like I said, I got health issues. So all I need is to make sure I got 2-3 months supply of pads, because bladder leak. Hey, you laugh too. Ladies, I'm telling you, your mama ain't telling you you're going to need another pad when you get older. You got to do your Kegels now. You have to control things. Because I love to sing, and sometimes I'll hit that high note and ooh. All right, even here. All right, I am a natural hype woman. So, and at times I will tell people, listen, I need my YouTube videos to look a certain way. So I want me there outside on the road, and they have parades, because we have some parades that only happen in America right here in Charleston, South Carolina. There's an Emancipation Day parade every January 1st that lets you know that we are only just 150 some odd change years out of slavery.
But do you know, I need to say something, ladies. You know, that's the thing with the past history and so on. Do you know that currently there are over 20 million people that are held as slaves all across the world?
Yep.
And the people, you know, we kind of talk about this slavery is not gone. It's still there. It's just, it's still, and there are so many people who are still suffering from that. And some countries like, you know, what is it, Mali or Malawi? It's Mali, I think, that they abolished slavery only in 1990s. I mean, it's like 1990s.
Just,
and you know, and people are quick to forget. You know, it's just, that's one of the things. And this war is not over yet. This war is not over yet. You know,
and then
people shouldn't forget.
This subjugation that we're currently going through the past months, this not being, I mean, yes, we're making use of, and I ain't gonna lie, I'm a computer tech. How I jammed up my hands is being a tech, but I haven't communicated with folks with my camera other than making my blooming videos. You know what I'm saying? So it's being there on the forefront of technology for such a long time, yet knowing that we as hearing are also behind because the hearing impaired community has been doing visual communication for the longest. So we slow with it, but we quick with it. And because, I mean, look what we have right here. Big up, kid.
Oh my gosh.
You know, this is what we're talking about when we're connecting the dots across the diaspora, looking at the blend up and the mix up of the diaspora, all for what we there for the love of God. That's what's got us here at this point. The love of God. We know, listen, man, bodies drop everywhere. I'm coming out of Bushwick, not gentrified Bushwick. Where when Reagan said we have a war on drugs, the first large cement blocks, every time you see that picture, that's Decatur Street between Wilson and Knickerbocker. You know, I'm coming trained, my ear got trained to the point where we know, is that a firecracker, was that an M80, or what caliber of bullet was it? And it's crazy that as much as we're on all these different parts in the world, we still can speak of what gunfire does to us, what gunfire is around us, and what war-torn situations we've come out of because there's all these different types of war. But God is a healer.
Yes.
This time, like I tell folks, they're like, well, what can I do when I come down? Because, you know, I've been on chemo. Because there's a lot of people go down with health concerns. When you can show somebody, listen, you know you can get dialysis around the island. If you're coming in, staying with a hotel, speak with whoever. Speak with your medical personnel before you leave the country. If you're on chemo, there are people who, and this is the strangest part to me, it's the smoothest road under the sun until you get to that like last mile and it turned into Chaka Chaka Road with nothing but rocks. But going to Milk River Bath, which has the highest mineral content in the world for healing for those who are coming out of chemotherapy, yard nice.
Yes.
No matter what time of year. Because of, now, yeah, I've got to be here for medical stuff, but also when it get cold, they can't take it. When it's did that sudden dip, oh, it's nice in the afternoon and then dip 20 degrees, yeah, suffer.
Oh my gosh.
It's that dip. I want to get my headphones, but see, Jamaica, and yes, I've been never stranded, but me there. And yes, I've been never stranded, but me there. The time
we'll tell persons here that we can go to the beach in winter, like what they call winter.
But the key thing is, when we look at brain drain, and you will represent what some call brain drain, but we also know there's some unbelievable minds that are down there and the level of entrepreneurship.
Oh, yes.
But Jamaica make it hard to be that entrepreneur. Like, I love your video about the banking experience, but then again, other folks will say, well, I don't have to take that long. Yeah, you got to take that long other places. You sat and waited for customer service.
It is. It is actually much. It's getting so much better in Jamaica now. There are so many options available for entrepreneurs now, and there's been like kind of recent advances and recent developments. And I'm going to make a video on how to start a company in Jamaica and how the business actually works in Jamaica nowadays, because a lot of people don't have this information. I'm going to show firsthand experience of how this works, and it's like you can do most of the things online now. The tax office has provided absolutely incredible stuff now you can do online. Is brilliant, and the support is really good too. The banking now is getting better. NCB now has this absolutely brilliant online system for online banking. I hardly ever go to the bank now. Like, I remember when I first came to Jamaica 6 years ago, I had to wait in line for like 5 hours. No, seriously, like you would go even to make it simplest, transaction. Now they have this absolutely brilliant online banking, very secure, with tokens, with everything is like top notch. And I never go to bank again. I do everything online. It's so convenient. And but people don't know that. They're still like, if I'm passing by the bank, still these lines of people, it's just, you have to, they don't know that there is an option.
Here's the deal about that. You know what it is? People want the money in their hand.
That true. Same with Western Union. If you're Jamaican, you can provide 2 IDs and you can get your Western Union money to your bank account. You don't need to wait in a line. You don't need to go there in person. But people don't trust, that. They will go and they go in a line and they wait there for like 2 or 3 hours and then to get the money.
I'm not going to lie. When you have situations like Ecuador years ago, I went to for those who need to know, summer starts in Ecuador December 1st. The sun comes out late November. Before that, it is 70 degrees. That's why it is one of the #1, besides Jamaica, expat territories in the world. You will meet people there from the Ukraine.
Ecuador, really?
Yes, Salinas, Ecuador. It's about an hour and a half outside of Guayaquil. And it's Ecuador. Everyone there, now here's the deal. I'm not going to lie. It was hard to find the melanin because those of African descent are only 4%. 4 to 5%.
Still more than in Ukraine.
Yes.
There's
and
zero
in the northern region. But summer starts December 1st. You've got the Pacific Ocean. So yes, I did get to cross the equator. But that lifestyle right there, you can see, one can live. It all depends on what it is you figure you want out of life. They had a group the other day in Zoom of nearly 100 folks. That's why I've been sharing your videos with them. See, as you see, I'm as animated as you want to be. You never know what the hell's going to come out of my mouth. And you're wonderfully streamlined and will stay within a time frame and give them what they want. And that's what makes us all great. Because we're all serving up brand Jamaica in all these different flavors. And the fact that we can, this is a force right here. This is a team right here. We're going to make use of this because we're showing them the many facets of the diaspora that Jamaica goes through.
Yes.
And being able to provide this to many, like I was saying about Salinas, the folks are there, but in their minds, they're still in their other countries. I did not go to Ecuador to watch CNN all day. I don't go to Jamaica to watch CNN all day.
No.
I don't even drink that much coffee. I will go into the Blue Mountains and buy from the 1 and 2 local farmers because I can put my hands on real Blue Mountain, John Mountain, Jamaican coffee before Starbucks.
Talk about
Starbucks in Jamaica uses Blue Mountain coffee.
I know.
It's the best in the world. Like, why wouldn't they?
See, this is the thing that a lot of folks don't know is that they're conglomerates. So the 1 or 2 When you see farmers come to a way station, I learned so much roaming around Jamaica. They come to a way station with their coffee beans, and it's sold by the crate. And then that's dumped into they all come, say, on a Wednesday, and they load off right there. And a truck comes through from whichever various coffee roaster, and he takes that off, and that goes out all into the rest of the world. And I'm standing up there breathing Hollywell air, and I'm like, Jamaica to the world in so many ways.
Yes.
In so many ways.
You make me miss Jamaica, and I'm in Jamaica. Come on.
Right.
That's the
I'm
one.
stuck at home because of this COVID.
Day one.
I want to go places.
So
and I'm
enthusiastic.
People said, you make me miss it, and I live right here. I'm gonna say, well, all right. Sometimes we forget. We can take the smaller flights. There's the aerodrome that's over there on that side, and you can take those smaller flights to the smaller airports that are in Jamaica. Because smaller airports exist. We don't have to go through Norman. You know, I could do the contact. Maybe if we're talking to a load enough, one of them will say, okay, let's skip Trace Jamaica and see what we can do. Again, this blasted COVID thing that has kept many from not coming to the island, and the resiliency of people to still be able to function, flow, and make a move.
Yes.
Everywhere. Now, the cool part about it is I would want to say, okay, winter's coming soon. I want to gear up to come. Problem is, New York is currently on a new wave. I'm noticing Philadelphia's on a new wave. They've got,
and that is why it's important for us to, you know, put our content out. And that's why people love Irena's channel so much, because we're living vicariously through her now. I wanted to go back in the summer to surprise my dad for his 60th birthday. All of that got cancelled. Sorry, let me just go to the comment section very, very quickly. They're chatting. Most don't even have a account, much less debit cards. That's very true. That's very true.
Well, you know, just people need to be more aware that they can have them, but some don't want to have them because of all sorts of reasons.
That's
you don't want nobody track you. You don't want the paperwork. You don't want this. You don't want that. I say I had to go. Someone had to go to the tax office to take care of what, and this got me having to go to the tax office because they were going to get the learner's permit to go to drive. But then I realized all what was going on, because they have to make sure, since you're going to be a driver, you're going to pay taxes on a vehicle soon. So let's catch you from now. So I took the time to apply for my TRN. I have the letter, and I found it was amazing to me. This was in March when they said, well, come back in September for the card.
Yeah, that exactly. Yes. And I don't think card will be ready by September, by the way. My card was ready 1 year later.
And that's what there'll be a time when I'll make it back to Montego Bay. Now I've passed through because Knoxford stopped right opposite the Blue Building for the tax office, but I never did stop in because I figured it'd take forever, and I'll get the card soon. There are things that we're not making use of. Yes, the first things he did to me on my second trip down, the next day I'm in the cannabis board office. I don't know why, but I need to learn.
And a lot of times it's just out of ignorance, like you didn't do your research.
Some don't want to do it.
Some don't even know what kind of research they should do. They don't even know.
There you go. They don't know what the starting point is.
But maybe some people would want to learn, but they don't know what they need to learn. They just don't even know.
They swear by their old ways, like, I'll put my money under my mattress. Me good. So
remember the empty coffee pan them. I know every empty pan in our house empty. That's why I love the people overlook.
We're gonna talk about the people in business. Kicking
No,
it
you
with
can't.
This is beautiful.
Banks is
Hello,
not talking
co-host.
nice.
Hope you're doing well.
Ladies, I will have to leave you in 4 minutes because I have a lesson to run online
Got
with the
business
student.
to handle.
Yes, I have to run a lesson. Yeah,
We do have to talk. We'll have these conversations, and whether in our private chat exchange, whatever information. And fun is because it all works well. It all blends in. And ladies, I'd like to invite you in your time to do this on Ms. BJ Peart. We can get together every now and then.
Yes, let's do that.
And invite you to Miss
It's
BJ.
Irena's first live stream, actually. She didn't have a clue how to do it.
Yes, I had no idea. So this is first experience. So I'm learning from you, ladies. I'm learning
now
from
you're
you.
going to be doing it
Baby,
on
you got to make use of it, honey. And listen, StreamYard is multi-platform. See, we're gonna do this in levels because I pay my little $25 for mine, so I'm going to
take
a couple
us to school, Brenda. We'll do this. Of course, the person will have questions, and I know we're gonna need a part 2, as Jamaican Insider just said. So we'll definitely be doing this. We're going to come over upon Irene page. We're gonna go over upon Miss Beard.
Yes.
We're gonna do this. So
Absolutely.
I gotta go to bed because I have work in the morning.
Yeah, you might. Yes, you might want to get some sleep. Maybe I'm not sure.
I think it's a good idea.
Do you need sleep? Do you need sleep? Come on, YouTubers don't need a sleep. That's all right.
And this is number one. I used to work for Mitsubishi and I always wanted to go to Japan, but just know one thing. They can't listen. Lord, that's why them just have to let me run free and do what I do. Baby, that decorum that they need. I know I'd have to switch up every night. I can't stay sedate at all times. God bless you.
Much
what
love,
work you're doing and your personality. Yes, you are the teacher. We are the record cloning at the back, but we have good grades.
Irene, she going to make you late for your class. Hey, you're
yeah, respect, so much respect. Thank you so much for welcoming me. That was brilliant. Pleasure meeting you. And thanks to all the viewers. Bye-bye. Bye-bye, guys.
My pleasure having you guys. Bye. See you next time.
Bye.
Arigatou gozaimasu. The party start. Irene gone? Yes, make we do what we do now. Hey. I love you. Thank you so much. Yes, at 12 o'clock now. 1 minute to 12.
Yeah, okay. 10:59. I'm pushing on. So 12 o'clock, what? Midnight?
Midnight.
Midnight for you, pushing on 11 o'clock here. Woo!
Much love. Let's do this again sometimes. I really enjoyed it.
Big up your viewers. All of them have to follow all on.
Yes. Well, I'm going to follow Miss here. Jamaica with Irie. Go on over there. Excellent. I am honored. Enough respect. Big up everybody. Boom bang, I'm out. Stay Irie.
Go to your full screen. Say goodbye to your full screen. I don't have to share it with you. Kick me out. Goodbye.
All right. Thank you. I have school me, you know.
Then I must iron sharpen iron, baby.
True. So true. I love it. There you have it, guys. Oh my God. Wasn't this like an awesome? And I hear my neighbor slamming the door, probably giving me the hint that I'm loud. I don't know. The walls here are very thin, but big up to everyone. Thank you for coming. The Good Lit Family Vlog. Sleep tight. Thank you, Michelle. You've been here all along. Thank you so much, Jamaican Insider. You came late, so you gotta watch the replay. Mom and daughter has been here. Everyone, I thank you for coming in. Thank you for the thumbs up and the share and the love and everything. Guess what? TV, Big Rock, Small Bite, did kind of pass through. Miss Tareen did pass through, so she couldn't stay long. To everybody, Rasclat did gamble thing in breakfast, but he now come to me. I've got to go to bed. Stay Irie, stay blessed. Love you guys. Boom, bang, I'm out.